Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. We are back. The show is called TBR SSF Show, which simply means TBR Solution Sports Forum. It is myself, the Saubrey Boyz Walefatshe, and the Man City Man, Peter Stirrup. Peter, how are you doing?
Yeah, good morning, Saubrey. Good morning to the viewers. Yeah, so far so
Mm,
good.
yeah, so
Just
far,
sweating yet.
there's so many. As far as football is concerned, we talk football. But I also want us to talk about cricket. We lost.
We
Um,
did.
very sad. And guess what? Who are we losing to? New Zealand. Our nemesis, eh? New Zealand,
Yeah,
New Zealand and Australia, and also in rugby, the All Blacks. Those
all
are
black. Yeah.
yeah. we can lose, but not to those guys, man. No, nah, nah, nah. We can lose, but not to those guys.
Yeah,
And
and it's the manner in which we lost as well, eh? By 9 wickets. Huh? That's a
mm,
thrashing. That's a
that's a
thrashing.
thrashing, eh? That's a
Yeah,
thrashing. I'm sure they're happy to have beaten South Africa. There is a strong
yeah.
rivalry between the two. But we'll talk about it. Guys, we are with you as always, and thanks for always being there for us. We really appreciate. Maybe one of the things that I need to mention, I haven't said much, and then I said I'll post on Facebook that we have decided to suspend our Tuesday show until further notice. We do only Saturday, but we'll resume it once we are ready. But guess what? Rekao fela, sisonke, singwe, onse sam, we are together, and then rotle remoho. So all of you, you're part of us, and thank you so much. Yizo yizo, the return, Baba. Now, Pete, let's go
Yes,
here.
boss.
Goes on. This is the cricket.
Yeah.
Tell me what's happening here.
Oh well, that was a semi-final. Although it says the final result, it's not actually the final. It was a semi-final.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the final result of that particular game.
Mm,
South Africa they just didn't come to the party there in this game. New Zealand just knocked us out of the park, basically.
mm,
Um, so yeah, sad story. But now New Zealand go forward into the final.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
They
mm-hmm,
will be facing um, they'll be facing India.
mm,
India played England,
mm,
and they won by 7 runs. So that
mm,
one's a little bit closer, one
mm,
would
mm,
argue there. But well done to both teams. And it will be an
mm,
interesting final, which is being played tomorrow, by the way, if anybody's interested.
mm.
Um, 3:30 tomorrow afternoon. You can watch New Zealand versus India in the final. It's quite exciting as well,
Mm,
with it being
mm,
20 overs.
mm,
It's not sleepy. Sometimes you can sleep in front of the TV if it's the Test cricket, but this is really it's fast paced and you must see how quickly they turn around, eh?
mm.
They Once they finish the first over, they go in. It's probably 5-10 minutes later they're out again and off they go for the next 20 overs now for the other team. It's very exciting. I quite like this T20, I must admit. But
T20.
yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunately, it wasn't South Africa's day this day.
Mm,
And I thought we were gonna go for the final there. So quite disappointing.
mm,
Um, but then again,
mm,
my predictions have been wrong in the football also. I think I said last week that Chiefs might snatch it in the Soweto derby,
mm,
but
mm,
clearly not. Yeah.
mm, mm. No,
So don't
Pirates,
don't
Pirates,
make don't
Pirates
make any
was
bets.
way too strong for them.
Yeah, don't make any bets on my predictions, please, guys.
Pirates was way too strong for them. And then, by the way, that's the topic that I want us to talk about. Very few topics that are very important that I want us to touch on. One, what should Kaizer Chiefs do? All right, going forward. I hear a lot of people calling for Pitso to be the coach, to be the next coach. And then also, Benni McCarthy has already raised his hand to say he's wishing to, he has always been wishing to coach two teams that he always supported, which is Kaizer Chiefs and Man United. But he has set up a very realistic, goal with Man United. He says maybe it may happen in 10 years, not now.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, it's realistic. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. We need to talk about that one. But I must say, big up to Kaizer Junior. And then I saw him at Robert Marawa. And, you know, watching that Robert Marawa show, the more I watch, the more I respect Robert. You know, Robert, what I like about him, whether he knows you, whether he has a soft spot for you, he will ask real questions, probing questions, so that you come out, you know, and have the opportunity to express yourself. And I must say, I was impressed with Junior. He started by apologizing to the Chief fans, and then he was condemning. He said they are taking a blame. And then he pointed out to him directly to say, we are taking the blame to be where we are. And then the way we played, it was not enough. It was not according to standard of Kaizer Chiefs. For me, that was a big up for Junior. And then he went further to say, I've been in this position for 3 years now. And then having been in this position for 3 years, I've already won the cup, which is the Nedbank Cup. Now, it depends how do you see it. Are you saying that's a failure or not? The other thing that people should remember, Kaizer Junior, he moved straight from football, from school, and then into the shoes of Kaizer Chiefs. Of course, people will say it looks like a favoritism, but I'm saying if he doesn't work for Kaizer Chiefs, who else should he work for? Because the family tree is a very important aspect in life. I don't know what's your take about that. I was impressed, and he even said we need to do better. You know, I liked him when he said we need to do better. All right. So I don't know what's your take. Do you think it's good for a person to come out and say we need to do better? What's your take?
Yeah, because it's true. It's actually true. Chiefs have let themselves down over the last couple of games. I mean, they slipped down in the table now to sixth place on 30 points, which is 14 points behind the log leaders and second place, obviously, for that matter as well. That's quite a few points, although they do have, I think, a game in hand, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And the other thing about Junior as well, which I also appreciated as well, he stressed that, it's the rumors, what you were saying about Benni McCarthy and others that, might come through there. He said, well, if he was to address those sort of rumors, he said it would be unprofessional. So he's standing behind the current staff there. He doesn't want to talk about rumors and things like that. So, Yeah, I think it's the right thing to do. But yeah, there's definite improvement required. Whether that's now you can lay that, squarely on the coach at this stage,
Mm, mm,
or the coaching staff, remains to be seen. Yeah, because remember, all teams go through a little bit of a slump.
mm,
Uh, their focus now is to try and get into the CAF Champions League positions. So there's no use crying over spilt milk, as it were. Um, they've had an opportunity, to do better, but unfortunately, then that hasn't come through at the moment.
mm, mm.
Um, I'm sure the Chiefs fans are very disappointed at the moment with their
Of
team.
course.
Yeah, uh, yeah, it's a tough call, but that's football. It's pressure. It's
Mm,
it is what it is. Basically, results mean everything. Um, Pretty much that way in business and life as well, actually. Yeah.
mm,
So,
mm,
so that's my opinion,
mm,
for what it's worth. But yeah, look, as always, stand behind the team, guys. Shout them on. Try not to be too critical and stick with it.
mm, mm,
I mean, I was watching, by comparison, I was watching the Premier League and my team, Man City, played Nottingham Forest. And I was very disappointed um, with the result being 2-2.
mm,
But if I'm honest, it was a
mm,
fair result. And that second goal by Nottingham Forest was absolute cracker. It was a
mm,
brilliant goal.
mm, mm,
So well done to them. They're
mm,
also reeling at the bottom of the table. So, when they say there's no easy games, it's actually true.
mm,
And maybe another thing, if we just stay with the Premier League at the moment now, is our friends Tottenham Hotspurs,
mm,
fifth
mm,
from bottom, eh? 1 point off the drop zone, I think it is.
mm, mm, mm,
No,
mm,
can you believe it? Tottenham
mm.
Hotspur.
Yeah.
So I mean, that
Old
shows you,
team.
eh?
Old team.
Yeah, but I mean, you would never expect Tottenham Hotspur at this end of the season to be in such a position. So
Mm.
it even happens to the big clubs in the Premier League. So take some solace in it. It's a difficult time. They can improve, but yeah, stick behind the team. Let's see what they can do for the rest of the season,
Mm.
and let's hope they get into the Champions League positions.
And look what happened is, you know what, I also like what Junior said. Well, I'm not waiting for Junior. It's
Mm,
it's true. You are a boss. You are leading. Outcome
mm,
based. Outcome based for me. That's what drive. What are the results? But in three
yeah,
years, and I have a trophy. Is that a bad thing? When there are other teams who have been there for many, many years, there's no trophy. All right. But maybe people would balance it and say, we are not talking
mm,
about golden arrows, or not,
sure,
not
yeah, 100%.
disrespectful to golden arrows or Chiba United or so. You are talking about Kaizer Chiefs, people who are
Yeah,
now accustomed to glory. But I
a higher
say,
expectation. There's a
yeah,
higher expectation of Chiefs, and maybe
I'm,
one trophy in 3 years is maybe not good enough for their fans and their stature and what we're talking about here.
and
But no, it's true. They have got to win a trophy, and that was the first trophy for a little while. So yeah, it can improve.
the young man said something very important to say. Firstly, I'm a Chiefs fan. First, before anything, I support this team. And the other thing, this is my observation in terms of the demeanor. I saw a lot of respect in him. In most cases, when you see boys who grew up from that kind of an environment, family, they're like cheese boys, all right? And then, they're not genuine when they talk, and well, that's my opinion. I may be wrong.
Mm,
Then they ask him, as you said, he said we need to be professional. As much as
mm.
I respect Pitso and Benni McCarthy, but I don't think this is how it should be done. There are processes that need to be followed, and then we should also weigh. But he said we continue to evaluate. It's outcome based. When we lose, as much as we give you a chance, but what is key? We must win. Okay. Robert came up with something to say. If you lose the next game, this would be you would have broken a record. All right. So, which is not a good record, a bad record. So those are some of the issues. And now they ask him whether Pitso also, what would you say? You know my position. I always go for Pitso. I don't have any issue with Benni McCarthy, with his profile, having done so much, winning the Ballon d'Or, playing in Europe, playing in different countries in Europe, and then dominant, and then coaching. He did well with Ajax Cape Town, and then but Pitso, as far as I'm concerned, he even played in Africa, which is a different ball game altogether. And then, so he has done a lot. He has done a lot. Pitso was in the national squad with Pereira. I strongly believe Pitso will do a lot. And then also, even Benni, there's nothing wrong with Benni taking over. But we'll see. Will Kaizer Chiefs go out and do that? The other thing that came out very clear, because there were callers. One caller was saying the old man has done well. He has left you guys with legacy. You guys are messing up. Trying to dissociate Dr. Kaizer Mdung from the whole situation. He said, no, Dr. Kaizer Mdung is always at Naturena. Dr. Mdung, he goes to work like everybody, and he chairs all our meetings. All right? That means Dr. Mdung is involved. So Kaizer Chiefs fans, this argument of trying to apportion blame either to Bobby or Junior or Jessica and so on, I don't think Dr. Mdung, I've always maintained that Dr. Mdung is the one who has a final say. All right? And at the same time, Junior is young. Okay? And then remember, when you enter into this thing, it's a baptism of fire. All right? and then you come out being strong. Look at the coach of Chelsea, very young. Okay? And then wherever he started, it was a baptism of fire. But look what is he doing. I have confidence that Junior will come out strong. And then, and then these youngsters, they reach something to them. But Chiefs must do something very quick, to be honest. For me, appointing Pitso will be a solution. Failure, you can go to Benni. And when you appoint Pitso, please don't put any restrictions. Let the check be there. Junior said, we have bought players. We spend a lot of money, of course. But what kind of players have you bought? That's another thing. And the other thing that I have, from my perspective, Kaizer Chiefs should bring back Farouk Khan to take care of their development side. And now you'll have Farouk Khan helping with the development side, including Pitso, who also has his own academy. That will build a very strong foundation for Kaizer Chiefs. So that would be my suggestion. I may be wrong. What's your take, you as Kaizer Chiefs? What should be done by Kaizer Chiefs? Because the game, Junior even mentioned that the game against the Pirates was a disaster. I think there was 1 or 2 shots at the goal. That's why, in fact, it was a few shots at the goal. That tells you that things are really, really chaotic. Something must be done. So that's it. And that's one. Mamelodi Sundowns. Cardoso came out strongly to say, we are being given too many games. All right? And then when you look at Orlando Pirates, they don't have that much game. Instead, there is what you call, their games are being postponed and so on. Is it really what you see, Pete? And is it really what you see? Or it's a question of Cardoso feeling the heat, and then now try to find out where can I apportion blame. But you know my position as far as what's your take about this? There is
Well,
any.
if you look at the next three games that
Mhm.
Mamelodi Sundowns have played, they've got the CAF quarterfinal. Um, what's the name of that team now? It's Stade Milan de Bamako. And
Mm,
they're playing that first match this Friday, the 13th, yeah?
mm,
And
mm.
then following that, they've got a game against Orbit College on the Tuesday. But
Yeah.
the second leg is on the
Mm,
following Friday, being the 20th. So you what I'm saying. So you've got this. Sorry, it's not in between those finals.
mm,
He's got the Orbit College game on the 10th, followed by these two quarterfinals.
mm,
The
mm,
first and second legs there.
mm,
Um, I mean, look at it. At the end of the day, I don't know whether it's favoritism or not, but maybe they could have done something that I don't think it's easy to reschedule games in a league. Eh? It's chaos, man. It's real chaos.
mm,
Um, but yeah, well, maybe he's got a point there. But if you look at let's throw it back to Europe again.
mm,
We've got
mm,
the round of 16 games coming this week.
mm,
We've got the FA Cup this Saturday.
mhm,
So all those teams that are involved there, they've got heavy schedules. So the more that you're involved in, the more, pressure becomes, on getting your team through those,
mm,
which are heavy fixture clashes.
mm,
And I get his point. I get his point that, the team needs to rest maybe in between these games. But the thing is, Sobri, and this is one thing that, I'm thinking, I'm having many conversations about this one. We're playing a 90-minute game. They're professional footballers. They're at the peak of their fitness.
mm,
And I think mentally it might affect them,
mm,
but
mm, mm,
physically, and again, we're coming back to that question of the squad. If you've got a squad, you'll see now in the FA Cup games that are being played this weekend, depending on their perceived opposition,
mm,
you'll see teams like Chelsea and Arsenal, who are playing Mansfield this afternoon, about 2:30 this afternoon.
mm,
They're playing a relatively, I don't want to say weak because it sounds, but they're not in the same class. Yeah.
mm,
So
mm,
you'll see that Arsenal will rest certain players. So as much as it is a league crunch, if you want to call it that thing, where you put games one after the other, the
mm,
importance of the squad and selecting the squad for that specific game, comes to play. Yeah, it's a difficult call, but he's. I'll say one thing for Cardoso. He's been complaining quite a bit recently.
mm.
Um,
But is he
he compl
justified?
to a degree, he's been complaining about the state of the pitches in the PSL. He's been complaining about many things. And I think he's got a high standard. Yeah.
Mm,
And there was one independent guy, I can't remember his name now. He was saying, he's got to the point where he's criticizing so much about South African football that he's being disrespected. I'm not so sure that I believe that to that degree, but if you've got a high standard, then that is what it is. So you have high
mm, mm,
expectations.
mm,
Yeah. And why shouldn't he say that, for example, the pitches are not up to standard, or, we
mm,
should have VAR, or, some of the refereeing decisions are maybe not what they should be.
mm,
Um, he's entitled to his opinion. I
mm,
don't see that as being disrespectful in any way. I think it's disrespectful if you don't allow somebody to have their opinion. That's my opinion. So yeah, it's a tough call. I feel for Sundowns in terms of the the games that they've got to play over a short time period. But this is where the squad makes a difference, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And sometimes I pull my hair out with Pep Guardiola, my team coach, because he rotates certain players, and you think, "Oh, why are you doing that? Why are you doing this?" But at the end of the day, if he gets the results, everybody sees
The
happiness
Messiah.
there.
They see the Messiah.
Yeah. Well, there's not the complaints they have at the moment now on the Chiefs side at the moment now, because
Mm.
let's be honest. I mean, they've had a shocking 5 results. In all competitions, they've lost five games, and in
Yeah.
the PSL alone, they've of the 5 games that they've played, I think they've lost 2 or 3, or I can't remember. So yeah, it's not been a good run for the Chiefs game at this stage.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll be talking. We'll see whether Orlando Pirates will catch up or not. But I go back to what we said before, that this thing of club owners serve also as the leaders of the league will continue to haunt them. Even if they do a right thing, there will be a perception. So I
Yeah.
think they need to relook at that. They need to relook at that. And I've just shared with you that SAFA got a sponsorship of Standard Bank. I think a very good by Standard Bank after a backlash in the ad hoc committee, after allegations were flying around that they shared the information of a consumer without the permission of the consumer. And the Poppy Act comes in there and there.
Mm.
But apparently it came that it probably is not them. We don't know whether they are going to investigate or what. So this was a good move by Standard Bank. Once this is happening, they come up with good news that we as Standard Bank, we are supporting Bafana Bafana. Remember, Bafana Bafana have been struggling, and I'm told it's a very comprehensive sponsorship. It does not look only at the senior team. It looks even other the small teams as feeder. So big up to Standard Bank. You have shown that you are part of that. And the other thing, while we are still there, Pete, I need to
Yeah.
share with you what's your take about Mark Carrick. I mean, look at this guy. He has done so well. Yes, of
Mm.
course, he lost last night. And then I want to ask you, when you're in the shoes of those people in the board, deciding whether this guy should continue or he should be sacked, what would be your approach?
Well, I think we mentioned this in one of our other meeting there. He's here. He's the interim manager now until the end of the season. So let's see if he continues to perform. I mean, as I say, they slipped up the other night against Newcastle, but I mean, it's just football. There's no easy games, And by the way, my team are playing Newcastle today, so I must be careful what I say about United versus City now. But yeah, I think he's done brilliant, actually, to be honest with you. I mean, United in third spot now at the moment, yeah. Look where they were this time last year. I mean, we've been through a managerial roller coaster at Man United over the last couple of years, and and now you brought somebody, like you mentioned, Pitso. I mean, this guy's United through and through. He just loves Man United, and he seems to have the support of the players. I think they're playing really well, to be honest. I didn't see that game because it was a late game against Newcastle there, but it is what it is. I think they scored in the very last minute, actually, Newcastle, so it was in extra time there. So a bit unfortunate from a United perspective, but well done for Newcastle to keep pushing. Yeah, I think he's done brilliant. And I think for me, hold on to him, as per his contract till the end of the year, and let's see how far he goes. And then maybe they can throw his name in the hat, as the long-term manager going forward. But
After a year, do you reappoint him or do you go for the final
the
coach?
superstars. Well, it depends. It depends who's in the mix there and what the aspirations of the board are. I
Mm,
mean, at the end of the day, if he carries on the way that he's going at the moment, they're going to qualify for Champions League.
mm, mm,
Um, will he be a sufficient coach, in that environment? He'll be up against some of the classics, in that competition.
mm, mm,
Will United back him?
mm,
Will the team back him? I would look at it, like I said, let's see how far he goes to the end of the season and then make decisions there. I mean, I think in the background, United will be looking for somebody a little bit more with a more stable, long-term sort of like a Agalotti or somebody like that. They'll be looking for a coach with, how can I put it? Results. Yeah,
mm,
on his
mm,
CV. But
mm.
he's done really well. I think he's done really well, and it's good to see United competing again now. I mean, they
Yeah,
thrashed Man City the other
yeah,
day when we played them. There was only one team in it, and that
yeah,
was Man United. And it breaks my heart to say that as a City supporter, but they were brilliant. They were absolutely brilliant, and their football is really good at the moment. So yeah,
we said what we said. Here is the lock. Here is the lock. Orlando Pirates, they are still on top of the lock. And then the Mamelodi Sundowns are number 2. Of course, we say many things. Whether Pirates will be the first one to break the monotony, or the streak of Mamelodi Sundowns continue to win the league, or what's going to happen. But now, as we said, we see Mamelodi Sundowns doing so well. People are saying, you know what, we see nothing that will stop them to win the league. And then others are even going further and say they may even win the Champions League, which will be great if them continue up to they win the Champions League. But don't rule out Pirates. Don't rule out Pirates. But the sad news with Pirates, I'm sure you have seen, we hear that Mbuli, there are problems. Pirates are also thinking that they may not even renew his contract. So apparently the boy has gone wayward. Those are the allegations, but I always say, I've been saying it over and over, the teams should be proactive and come up with statement and quell whatever that is happening there, because the fans, they are eager. When I listened to that Robert Marawa's show, the fans were very brave to tell Junior, and I liked the demeanor of Junior. Junior was very calm, accepting whatever that he needs to accept, because that's it. Continue to show respect. And I want to say big up to Dr. Mtau to instill that element of respect among his children. We know that Jessica now is a wayward machine. Jessica is a machine now when it comes to um, marketing, but I think he also struggled when things started. And then she was guided by quality people who surrounded him. Of course, his father has always been there. So maybe we need to continue to give Kaizer Junior an opportunity to continue, with the job that he's doing. I'm not a Chiefs fan. I'm not a Kaizer Junior fan. Don't say it. I'm saying what I see. Yes, Pete, this is what I was saying. And if you look at the league here, the Pirates, they are there. I've said this before. The problem with Pirates consistency. But Pirates are playing a very good football. Mufukeng is really on form, and him playing number 10 is doing so well. And Pirates players, when they come in, you see the team. doing exceptionally well. Yeah, but their last game, as much as they won, but they were like not the game that they played against Kaizer Chiefs. I don't know. What's your take?
Yeah, agreed. Consistency. That's going to be the trip up for Pirates if they're not careful there.
Yeah.
Where by comparison now, the champions,
Mhm.
Mamelodi now have won 5 out of 5.
Mm, 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 mm.
It's they're a machine, eh? And they're looking like they're getting serious now.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It's like Cardoso has
consistency.
found his footing.
Yeah.
Mm,
Remember, he had that good couple of games that he had to get through. He had to beat
mm,
Pirates, which he did.
mm,
They had the Champions League game, which they had to win because people were just looking for his head at that stage,
mm,
and he's come through that.
mm,
And they're consistently winning now at the moment. So Pirates have got to be on their game now.
mm,
They've got to be on
mm,
their game.
mm. And there were a number of things. Well, we don't know. Like here, Benny was raising his hand to say, look, as he was
Mm.
launching his book at Exclusive Books, I'm trying hard to get Mark Gleason, and then we talk about this book. You know that we have the book section. So I'm happy that Benny has penned out his story because I've always been saying, Benny from Cape Flats, youngsters there, they don't have role models. And then this can serve as a motivation to to encourage youngsters to be better people. You know, our foundation, the Big R Foundation, we are teaching on finance and we are also emphasizing on reading because reading is the cornerstone of everything. That is our foundation. That's what we are doing. So if you lay your hand, if you want to get a copy, just learn if you want to really understand what's happening in the world of football. And then the other questions that were thrown at Junior was how do they buy players? This guy Mubarak, people are still asking questions. How did this guy landed at Kaizer Chiefs? He's not playing games, and then what would be, and Junior said, we spend a lot of money, but maybe the people who suggest who should be bought, who should not be bought, maybe they're the ones who should take the blame because we don't see anything happening. We don't see any movement as far as whatever that is happening there at Kaizer. What's your take about that, Pete?
Yeah. Um, yeah, they've been criticized quite a bit for the quality of players that they've been buying there, but well, let's see how the rest of the season goes.
Mm, mm, mm.
Let's see. Let's see.
Yeah, yeah,
And
because
that thing that you showed now,
Mhm.
the saying that basically Nabi wasn't buying the players that he wanted to because he was influenced from above. Yeah.
Mm, mm,
Mm.
mm.
That's always
Well,
tough as a coach, yeah.
yeah, if you ask me, I suspect, get it that well and clear, I suspect that that could be the problem with Pitso. That, you know, they are worried that he's going to tell them who he wants, who he
So
wants.
full autonomy, yeah. Full
Yeah.
autonomy as a college, yeah.
And guess
Um,
what? Why do I come to a team and you tell me who to buy? You see?
well, who carries the liability if the results don't come in? You know, it's the coach, isn't it?
Mm,
The eyes are
mm,
always on the coach. It's not if, and we say that if allegedly,
mm,
there is this influence from the board on who's
mm,
who's bought and who isn't,
mm,
then
mm,
it's not a nice position to be in.
mm,
Because
mm,
you can't buy the players that you want to, but you're
mm,
expected to produce the results that are wanted.
mm,
So
mm,
tough, tough stuff. They say in a job position that you have responsibility and accountability.
mm,
And that's
mm,
basically what is needed at
mm,
coaching
mm,
level. If you're going to hold me accountable, then make me responsible. for
mm,
my actions and what happens on the field. Yeah. So
mm, mm,
always
mm.
tough. I can
Yeah.
understand it to a degree. I can understand it to a degree because obviously the club want results and
Mm,
they want to look after their return on investment, as they say.
mm,
But
mm.
yeah, it's a tough call. I
It's a
wouldn't
tough
like
one.
to be a I wouldn't like to be a coach in football these days. No ways.
It's a tough call.
It's
One,
a tough call.
one of the good coaches, up and coming coach, the coach from Polokwane City, he was adamant, Putti, Mahafe. He said he does not see Pirates catching up with Mamelodi Sundowns. Said Mamelodi Sundowns is going to run away with the league. Okay, um, so we are assessing whether Pirates will win the league. Look, we are wishing Pirates to win the league to break that streak. Okay, but whoever wins will be happy for him. All right, and then
Sure.
yeah, remember, I don't know whether people will be happy with this. They said Mamelodi Sundowns is the third best passer of the football in the whole world. Number one, of course, Man City, the Tiki Taka. So Mamelodi Sundowns are number three. All right. When Doc Kumalo said the Chief fans were not happy, but this is reality. This is the fact, and this is so they must now start to accept it that those are some of the issues that are happening. And as I said to you earlier on, Mufukeng is on fire in this game. He really showed his mettle, and then the boy is going all the way. And we hear that there is an offer of 40 million for him. 40 million for him. I don't know whether Pirates will take it. I know his father wants him to go there. And then the other thing is this, and which I want us to touch a little bit. Mackenzie said Morocco is not going to host the women football, the AFCON. South Africa is ready to host if, all right? So because I need to emphasize that. He said if.
Mm.
And some people are saying, why are we taking that? The athletes are struggling and so on. Remember, in addition, he has also shown that he has paid the 20 million for the VAR, and then so that because
82 million.
how much?
82 million. 82 million.
Yeah. So he said VAR should come in as early as August. So which is a positive thing.
Mm.
I'm impressed with this, although sometimes I don't like his utterances. You know, for him to, well, those are political things in
Yeah.
politics. To say, I'm in support of Israel, I'm in support of America. I'm saying you don't have to do that. It's your choice, by the way. But if you look what is happening in Iran, Iran is hitting everybody who's associated with America. We don't want that war to come in. That's my opinion. So sometimes, we are learning so many things. I'm learning so many things from wherever I'm sitting in terms of my corner, because politics is about diplomacy. What do you say can have a lot of impact. You know, and people are saying Trump was warned many times, don't start this thing with Iran because it may, and we see what is happening. You know, there's a lot of devastation. And I don't know whether you saw the price of oil has increased,
Yeah, I
and
have.
and then now, if this continues, what does it mean? It may cause a lot of problems. Remember, we are a sports program, but we are including element of education. Pete, what do you want to say?
Yeah. Um, Look, the oil price is determined by how quickly they can ship that out. And it's a storage thing as well. If you look into it a little bit deeper there,
Mm,
um, You know, the only certain facilities have storage, you know, for a certain capacity. So if they can't ship and that storage becomes full, let's say Qatar, I think it was Qatar that have 14 days storage of oil. If that's full now and they can't ship out because of the war there that's going on at the moment, then obviously they have to close down production. Closing down production is big, big trouble because you know, it's just not something you switch on and switch off. It's something that is a continuous process, you know. So, and it's not just oil, by the way. It's helium, it's sulfur, it's there's many things that are going to be affected by this conflict. So let's hold on and hope things work out quickly rather than it being a long drawn out thing.
The
But
crunch, the crunch of the giants. Sorry, Pete, to cut you short. That was the book written by. It's a posthumous book, a brilliant book. If you can lay your hands, an old book, you can lay hands on that book. I've just forgot the author, but I'll try to check whether I remember the author. One of my favorite authors. He predicted that that was in 1980. Can you imagine? That book was released post-mortem in 1980. He predicted that the big war is going to center around energy. And we are seeing that the crunch of the giants. What does the crunch of the giants mean? He said, in simple terms, the giants, which are the banks, the government, you know, they are going to crush small people, all right? And then, so he was warning the world. And then that is why if you are to succeed, very important that you read, because those guys, they look at the history and then they predict. So whatever that is happening to me is not a surprise. Pete, remember PSL, they share some news with us. So if I don't share what they share with us, that will be injustice. Then remember it's a NetBank Cup. So these are the players who are suspended for the NetBank. So people should not be surprised if they don't see these players. There's one from Amazon, there's one from TS Galaxy, and there's one from Carrick Stars. So you need to know who are suspended. So don't go out there and make noise. And then Monday, this is a statement from SAFA. They will be doing the semi-final draw, and then this semi-final draw is live on DSTV, channel 202. So yeah, people can and watch. So we need to share those news because they give us those news so that we can educate people about what is happening. So that is something that I wanted to share. Pete, in England, English football, yeah, Man City suffered a setback. You know about that?
Yeah.
And then I want to talk about that. It's not only Man City, let's see. And then remember, we have already spoken about Michael Carrick. And then to say, Man United, what do you think? Should the guy continue? Or you guys want to ensure that you have somebody that you want, you don't think Mike Carrick fits the bill. And then now, let's look at the lock in England. Pete, I want you to come in there. What's happening now? Yeah. Oh, it has done this thing. I don't know why does it do this. Let me try to share again. The log. Where is it? Okay. As I said, Man United, they suffered a defeat. So, can you see that, Pete? Do you want to say something about that?
I think we've briefly touched on it, but you know, if you look at the log right down at the bottom there, you'll see Nottingham Forest at fourth bottom, playing
Mm,
obviously in this game against my team, Man City, who was second in the log.
mm,
It
mm,
just shows you, it just shows you now this end of the season, those teams at the bottom, they don't
mm,
want to be relegated. So there's no easy games. There
mm.
is no easy games. You'll see there, Nottingham Forest just above the line there.
There is the lock. There is the
Yeah,
lock.
there's a
Yeah,
lot. And
Arsenal
and you
on
can
top.
see, yeah.
Uh, Difference of 7 points. Will
Mm.
they sustain this? Because I think now they are left with how many games? About
Now it's 9 games left. It's 38
nine
games in the
games.
Premier.
Nine
Yeah,
games. Yeah, and then Man City, game in hand. If they win that one, it will be like
4 points difference.
63. Then there will be 4 points. Are you
Yeah.
seeing this going all the way to the wire?
I think it depends on the next couple of, yeah, I'd say the end of March. By the end of March, you'll know who's going to win the league, I would suggest.
Mm, mm,
Um, but yeah, it's if you really look at it, I mean, you've got 9 points from Man United or behind City.
mm,
For me, just as it is in the PSL, in my opinion,
mm,
it's a two-horse race between these two guys, Arsenal and Man City,
mm,
and Mamelodi Sundowns and Pirates.
mm,
I
mm,
don't see anybody challenging in those respective leagues there,
mm,
for those titles there.
mm,
Um,
mm,
it's going to be very interesting. Obviously, City have to win that next game, that game in hand, to take
mm,
it down to 4 points. But
mm,
remember, they play Arsenal.
mm,
City play Arsenal. I
mm,
think it's in April. I'm not sure. I think it's
mm,
April. Um, that's a 6 pointer, as they say. If City manage to beat them,
mm,
then as it stands now, that would be 1 point
mm,
difference. So
mm,
it is a setback. That
mm,
game, it was a home game, and you should win your home games really if you're going to be a serious contender of the title.
mm,
But
mm.
it's not over. It's not over.
It's not over.
Um, we, there's a bit of a respite now in the league this week because it's the FA Cup
Mm, mm,
this weekend. So teams will be playing. In fact, like I said, Arsenal are playing, I think, in about an hour or two's time. I think it's about 2:30 this afternoon. They're playing Mansfield.
mm, mm,
Um, and yeah, well, let's see what happens with that one. It will be very interesting. Just to keep the viewers up to speed there.
mm,
Liverpool beat Wolverhampton Wanderers 3-1 last night
mm,
to
mm,
advance to what will be the quarterfinals.
mm, mm,
Today's
mm,
matches is Mansfield. I
mm,
think they're
mm,
in the old fourth division,
mm,
which is now the second division,
mm, mm,
because of the way they've restructured the league there.
mm,
And they're
mm,
playing Arsenal at 2:15.
mm, mm, mm,
Mansfield versus Arsenal.
mm,
The
mm,
later game at 7:45 is
mm,
Wrexham versus Chelsea.
mm,
Again, a lower league team against a Premier team.
mm,
And
mm,
then the one that is my interest, but not necessarily with two eyes,
mm,
at that time of night is Newcastle versus Man City, and
mm,
that's on at 10 o'clock.
mm,
For
mm,
the rest of the games, we've got basically Sunday, Fulham versus Southampton,
mm,
Port Vale or Bristol City versus Sunderland. I'm not sure who came through there.
mm,
Leeds United versus Norwich City.
mhm,
And then on Monday, it's West Ham United versus Macclesfield Town
mm,
or
mm,
Brentford.
mm,
And least
mm,
we not forget also, well, we're talking football out of Africa here. The
mm,
UEFA
mm,
Champions League is this week. So
mm,
you can see now what we were talking about earlier. You've got
mm,
Man City playing today,
mm,
Saturday,
mm,
a late game at 10 o'clock South
mm,
African time.
mm,
And then they play Real Madrid, I think it is on Tuesday or Wednesday. Well, I can't remember which night it is.
mm,
So
mm,
it just shows you the importance of a squad when you're involved in more competitions than maybe your rivals for the league title, for example.
mm, mm,
So Arsenal are also in there, so they're also getting um, a heavy round of games coming through. As we've said in earlier games, Arsenal are playing Manchester City in the League Cup final at the end of this month. So it's crunch time. It's crunch time. Yeah, where it really counts now.
Yeah. Pete,
yeah.
Let's move on.
Yes.
Let's go to the books. Remember, I said as a company, we want to emphasize on the reading element. I must say, I haven't said this, or maybe I've said it not much. We have a foundation called the Big R Foundation. Its purpose, two things: educate about, not necessarily two, educate about finance, okay? The people in general and the school-going people, and also encourage reading as a very necessary tool, as an intervention, and also ensure that the technology becomes part of the the education, because everything now has become technology. And then we have been joined by one lady, Mrs. Chidi, a principal of the school from Pumulo. She has added some few energy of what should be looked at. One of the books is this one, How I Turned 500 Rand into a Million Rand Business. As you can see there, I say you can do the same. Anyone can do it. And then the other book is this one, How to Get Out of Bad Debts, Use Other People's Money and Resources, because if one person can do it, why not you? Anyone can do it. Also, if you really, really want to understand what's happening in football, as I was talking about Robert Marawa, I think this book, Krim Shelile, it's a very nice read in terms of football. Understand what's happening. And remember that Benni McCarthy was also launching his book. I'm trying to check. I don't know where I've put it. And then I'll try to check it again. But maybe I'll put it towards the end. There's also this one by Luther Libelo, The Consciousness of Being God, because we need to read, we need to learn. And then Darlene Small, the lady who's an economist by profession, and then who worked at the Reserve Bank for 33 years. He wrote this nice book, a very easy read book, How to Win the Wealth Game, The Art of Money. All right. That's the roadshow that we are going to embark on. And then the last one that I want to share is Secrets for Becoming Rich. And then first and second edition. This is the second edition. And then I'll also try to check that one of Benni and continue. Yes, Pete. Having said what we said, we'll see what's going to happen. And I hope your team will go. If you ask me, I don't have any problem whether City, because remember, I'm a Pep supporter, but at the same time, I wouldn't feel bad if Arsenal wins. I like Arsenal very much if they win. Now
they're maturing. They're maturing.
Yes, they're maturing.
They're maturing.
I'm going to the Messi special now, right away. I'm sure you saw him at the at the
White House, huh?
At the
White House. Yeah,
at the House, and then he went to the Oval. This man is changing history. Now, remember, he was invited first by Joe Biden. He could not attend due to his schedule, all right? And then because he's got a very hectic schedule. And then, I hope, if I was sitting at Inter Miami and the Messi camp, I would say, please just use your influence to ask. I know it's not your place. Have an influence on Donald Trump to say this war, we don't need this war. And at the same time, I don't know how does Infantino feel, because he has already given Donald Trump what you call the peace prize. But the war is won. How did you do that? Do you understand? So I'm a little bit worried about that. And then, yeah, because we want to see peace. And then they handed Donald Trump, as you can see there, with the number 47 jersey. And then he was saying, I'm told that you are the best than Pele. Said, I saw Pele. I think Pele was genius. But sometimes it's nice to be a president. You could see that the notes have been prepared. We know that Trump is not a soccer fan, he's a golfer.
Yeah.
and, the other thing, but they've done very well because he was outlining what Messi has done before. And then he said, I'm told that you are better than Pele. And then he was honest that I never saw, I saw Pele. And then, yeah, I still have to. Jorge Mas, a Cuban, who said he left Cuba to come to America for the place of honey and freedom. Well, that is his opinion there. He's having his opinion. But I think this war must come to an end. Now, look, Lionel Messi breaking his own, he's now fourth, the highest free kick taker. As you can see there, at some point we were told he was number 2. But now, I don't know, somebody was saying it always changes when he comes close to break the records. He's fourth with 70 goals. And the number 1 guy is 78. I don't know whether can you see this name?
Yeah.
It's
Marcelo Carioca.
Yeah, Carioca. Like that. And followed by Roberto Dinamite and Gionino 72 and Marcos, and then at number 5 Zico number 6, and then what's his name again? Sinisa Milikovic, and then Cristiano Ronaldo is there at number 9. At least he's there at number 9 because I was worried.
Yeah.
He's ahead of Maradona. So that's Lionel Messi for you. The man is something else. He's a class, you know. I'm happy that we are doing this kind of a tribute to him while still alive. Because I always argue, why do you make noise when the guy has passed on? And you know what? When I watch that event, what Donald Trump was saying to him, I think it was inspiring him. Remember, Messi was not sure whether he will play in the World Cup. But I think after that event, I see Messi being motivated to say, you know what? Let me continue, all right, to prove a point. Well, remember, he has signed for 3 years, and then having signed for 3 years, well, after these 3 years, if there is no injury or something, and then I think he will quit. And the other thing, I don't know whether you are aware, he's now becoming a real estate mogul. I don't know whether you have seen that. He is becoming a real estate mogul.
Some of it.
Which is really good, because you need to think after football, because there's also life after football. All right, there is a lot that you can share with Messi. A week, it's enough. In 1 week, there's quite a lot that you can share, but I try to share as much as I can. Now, let me show you something very amazing. Now, at the training ground, you know, there were 30,000 plus fans coming to see him training. This is unusual. It has never happened. Pete. Okay. As I said, when I look at this guy, he's just a phenomenon like Madiba, like all those greats, Jesus Christ, all those greats, who come once at once. Now, in this game, there's always a comparison between him and Ronaldo. Lionel Messi scored the match, the winning goal, and Inter Miami won their second match in 2026. And Lamine Yamal, this is a week, they say that was the best week for him. Lamine Yamal scored a hat-trick. Remember, Barcelona, he likes Lamine Yamal. And Barcelona won. And then now they're on top of the log. And then unfortunately, Cristiano Ronaldo missed a penalty in this week. Now, remember, it's not Messi who's doing this. It's the people, the Messi fans. Remember, they are also the Ronaldo fans. And this is what I've just said now. Yeah, Pete, what do you want to say before I move towards closure now? We have tried to cover it as much as we can. Yeah, and then it's also happening there at La Liga, Real Madrid and Barcelona. They're always neck on neck to each other. And then Mbappe is doing well, scoring, is banging goals and so on. Lamine Yamal, same thing. There is a doubt whether the Fala Nasimu will continue, but the Arab people are saying they want it to continue. Lamine Yamal seen as the new generation and versus Lionel Messi. Pete, let me hear. What's your take?
Well, how do you follow a guy like that? That's the thing. The minute, how do you even, I mean, it's a what they call a hospital pass, huh?
Yeah.
In the football game, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you been compared to Messi? No,
No,
just impossible to reach those heights, I think.
yeah, it's impossible. Those who grew up with him, they say, this man is not normal. Not normal. He's not in our class. He's from another world. You know what? Him and David Beckham have taken things to another level. I'm very proud of David Beckham. He's doing well as a businessman. You know what? And then the knighthood for me, it's non-negotiable. In fact, he has one.
He has been knighted now, yeah. Yeah, he was knighted last year, I think.
Yeah, he's now Sir David Beckham.
Yeah,
He
Sir
deserves
David
it.
Beckham.
He
Yeah,
deserves it.
absolutely.
And I like his lifestyle. He loves his wife. He loves his children. But I know there is a problem with one of the children.
With his son, yeah.
What can you do? Life is like that. But he has done his best. He's a proud Englishman. He's a very, very proud Englishman. I like him. Well, he's like me. I'm a proud South African. I can't exchange South Africa for anything. Pete, thank you so much. Much appreciated. I don't know whether you want to say something in closing.
Just guys, enjoy the weekend. I think there's a developing story coming through in terms of VAR, which maybe we can touch next time.
Yeah.
It's coming at the end of the season. We did touch briefly on it there.
Yeah.
But there's a number of coaches really sort of like saying, let's go for this, because there's a lot of criticism of referees and linesmen and things at the moment now, and, accusations of favoritism to certain teams, etc., etc., etc. And
they also need support. So
absolutely. I mean, the human, eh? Yeah. But you know what? I mean, I don't want to sound like a sore loser, although we didn't lose there. Remember, we've got VAR in England as well now, and that game against Nottingham Forest there were two clear penalty shouts there, and a VAR was there on them, and I would think at least one of them should have been given there, but VAR, ruled against it. So all I'm trying to say is it's not a silver bullet. It's not the answer to all the problems that officiating a game will bring to the table. So we've just got to accept the rules and the what do they call it, the constraints of the game, which are on us now. And yeah, if VAR can make that better, then let's welcome it.
Yeah.
But other than that, guys, have a great weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, they're human beings. It's manned by human beings. Remember, you have technology, but it's manned by human beings who takes a final decision. Okay. 100%, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Right,
much appreciated, guys.
Have a great weekend,
Continue to subscribe and like. We try to touch as many subjects as possible. Thank you so much. Much appreciated.
Cheers, Saubrey.
Cheers, Pete. Bye-bye. Hello, everyone. We are back. My name is the Saubrey Boyz Walefatshe from TBR, which simply means the Big R Solutions. Here I'm representing the company called the Big R Financial Service Provider, Financial Services, which is an authorized and registered service provider. Our license number is FSP 47430. I'm talking to all government employees, age 55 and above, who are already thinking of exiting the system. They either want to go on pension or they want to resign. Two things that comes to mind. How do I save? How do I save on penalties? How do I ensure that the tax is not so huge? What can I do to make sure that I achieve those goals? Now, if you want to know how to achieve those goals, come to us. Drop us a WhatsApp, we'll call you. The WhatsApp number is very simple. It's 067 915 1447. 067 915 1447. Drop us a WhatsApp. Don't call, but drop us a WhatsApp. And then we are working together with Allan Gray on this product, on this project. So Allan Gray is our product supplier. So we assist people using that product supply. So it's up to you to give us a shout or drop us a WhatsApp. We'll therefore come back to you. I thank you.
Kgotsong, ke le tsebetsa ka buka ya ka e buang ka tsela yeo ke tsamaileng bophelong ba ka. Le tla utlwa ka mathata ao ke bileng le ona le katleho yeo ke e fihletseng. Hape le hore radio e nkahile jwang hore ke fetole bophelo ba ka. Takatso ya ka ke hore o fumane buka ena ya ka e tla fetola bophelo ba hao. Ya buang ke Dr. Chomani. Take it easy.